just can we discuss Ox? I wanted to discuss in terms of what's his main role, and are his limitations in the main role or secondary role at KaizerChiefs? Is he someone we need now? Is impacting? Are his limitations impacting how we play? Is he part of the reason why we're not creating? Let me put it that way as well. So just that question, maybe in the new link. Let's just have a discussion, a quick discussion. Maybe it's a 5-minute discussion about two Ox, and then we can go to the next two questions.
Okay, I like that.
I think to say we all agree that defensively we have been very solid. I just said the changes, even with what Opta was saying, we need to make more changes. We need to change in terms of how we attack. Like you say, let's have control in our attack so that we are able to create those chances for our players. I don't know, sometimes, I don't know when it was, maybe it's us, people don't see, our coaches maybe don't see these things we see. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that is limitations is that Ox will come in terms of how we struggle to create chances. El Capitano is not here yet, but I'll just share what. Yeah, is he here?
Yeah, you can share though. You can share, Kulu.
Yeah, no, I'll just share what I saw of Coach Nabi Ball before he joined us. I thought, looking at the ASFA team, I looked at the captain, how he was playing. He was a defensive midfielder, and he was very good on the ball. He was good on cover defense. He had a good passing range. So when I was looking at our team at the time before he joined, I identified players that would struggle in the way that the team would play under this new technical team. And Ox was one of them, simply because of exactly what I've just mentioned, which was a passing range yakhe that was not good. Yes, he's got good cover defense. Recovery yakhe is good, same as the captain that they had that side. But I think the most important part, he does not tick. That is a passing range. And that is where our chance creation is. The defensive midfielder should be able to complete those passes behind the defensive line of the opposition. I was even thinking of a player in the mold of Samkelo Zwane, in terms of how he's able to drive the ball to those spaces, to those pockets of spaces. I was even thinking of a player like who we've let go of this guy. What's this guy, man, who was wearing number 17 from Argentina? Castillo. I was thinking of Castillo because of what he's able to do when he has the ball. And he's able to build up. He's able to play cover defense. He's able to pass the ball. So those are the limitations that I see from Ox, that yes, because the coaches are scared of losing, they cannot bench Ox. But if we're being honest, their style of play needs a defensive midfielder who's able to pass the ball short and long, so they can get to the opposition box as quick as possible. Because now we're struggling to create big chances because of the limitations we have in the midfield. We don't have control, and we cannot get out of situations when we get the ball. And we get situations where, so as I conclude, we get situations where we have a player like Ucele, who's supposed to, at some games, play in an advanced position, coming in to collect and trying to help us progress the ball going forward. Same applies to Ngobo. So if we have two pivots who are able to play the ball, I think it will help us to get to the opposition box much quicker. And yeah, I think, let me just stop there for now. But I think midfield here too, it needs a lot of work. We've got Umaboy now that El Capitano has mentioned. I think that is where maybe our solution can be as well.
Yeah, Todd, I was going to just ask that question as well. Just maybe El Capitano can just speak on it when he speaks about Ox. What do we do? Do we take him right now and accept his limitations and say, let's continue with Ox, or do we then change and get someone else, and who's that person? And can that person do the work Ox does, and is he better than Ox? So that's one of the things where now we should just speak in terms of Ox.
So my brother, you asked that are the weaknesses of Ox from his primary role? That's still the question, my brother. No, I think they are not. Just to answer the question first, they are not on his primary responsibility, but the same weaknesses that he has, they can affect the team negatively to such an extent that they can determine whether we win or lose. As much as they are not from his primary role, but the impact that they have, they can actually cost us games. So I think that normally when I argue against Ox, that's my perspective, that some of the weaknesses that he has, we can do without them. Him not being able to make a forward pass, I think we can do without them. But him losing the ball in front of the centre backs, that's a problem. So I think it's more of the impact that we have to, accept, a negative impact from those weaknesses more than where they come from in terms of his games and his responsibility. So now in terms of whether we can do without Ox or we should keep him and accept him with his weaknesses, my brother, for me, it can go either way. I don't have a problem with Ox starting, but I think the coaches, they have a big responsibility in making sure that they set up the team better so that we don't see those weaknesses being exposed. I feel like tactically the team can still set up better with Ox. It's not that with Ox we can't play good, we can't look like a team that can compete and all those things. But I feel like when you bring all these weaknesses that you find within the team, you end up feeling like Ox is the main problem in that midfield. But if let me make an example. If you play Ox with Mushini, there are certain qualities that that Double Pivot is going to give you. But they are not going to give you everything. So what do you do as a coach to make up for the other parts that you're not going to get from them? You bring in somebody who can give you the other qualities, because we have a midfield trio there. You bring a midfielder who can give you the other qualities so that we don't complain about the ones who are playing to say they are not able to do 1, 2, 3. You bring a player who can now close that gap. Because, with elite footballers, you get one player with multiple qualities that are at the highest level, that you don't need to have two players for those functions. One player can actually perform them. So I would only be happy with Ox if he's played, but overall, the setup of the team allows him to flourish. It doesn't expose it. Because you know what, my brother? Look at how Gavin Hunt played for us. He congested the midfield. That already tells you that Ox is not going to breathe there. He's not going to be able to play. Of course, he won man of the match, but there are some turnovers that could have led to goals, or there are some poor passes. If they were made correctly, they could have led to goals for us. So, and those moments, they don't count because no goal was conceded and no goal was scored. So we don't really talk much about them. But if you look at the rhythm, the momentum that we have, how much we stay on the ball with good passing without such errors, you find that we have too many breaks, because of these turnovers that happen. And for me, it's unacceptable at the level that we are supposed to be playing, to lose the ball the way he does. But if we were to set up better, I think he would still be valuable. So I would just not change his position as a 6, but change what I'm expecting from him. When we build up, move him to become a set centre back. That's the first thing I would do. Protect him from trying to do things with the ball that he cannot do. Because he's a footballer, he's going to try and do certain things. And the more he tries, the more he makes mistakes. So instead of putting him in that position, I would don't let Ox receive in that crowd there. Let Ox go stand between Ukwinika and Aiden McCarthy. Let him be that. Nobody's going to be brave to press him there because the center backs would have stretched wide. Now you are allowing him to do something that will not, if he makes a mistake there, it's because of his score, not because he's under pressure or he's playing in uncomfortable positions and all of it. So I would just alter a little bit of how he's been utilized. Stop his movement. Don't allow Ox to go press, in the offensive side. Because once he loses that press there, it's Machine who's staying deep to defend. And we know that he doesn't have qualities to win us the ball and screen the defense. So don't put Machine in that position. As much as you are not supposed to put Ox in a position whereby he's supposed to do too much ball weight, But if they can't do that, then I think we do have players who can make us play better. We become too worried about how we will defend without realizing that if we are on the ball enough, we won't worry about defending because we will be able to put ourselves in an advantageous position, score goals, control games, discourage the opposition to even attack because we are too much on the ball, And in that way, for me, I feel like we can work without Ox. Look at the last 6 months. Let me say from January to May, we were using Ukayele there without Ox. Whether it was Taylor with Mark, Taylor with Mshini, whoever we're bringing in, but Taylor was the 6. We never had complaints as a fan base. The team never looked like it needed a natural 6, like in the mold of Ox. So it means he was able to perform the functions that we needed as the 6. But the problem is Ukayele is good on the ball. So once he does the things that he does with the ball, people feel like he needs to be advanced to do those things. But we are benefiting from him doing those things in deep positions. Why not allow him to flourish and do those things in deep positions? So for me, I feel like Umabuye, of course, I would not use Umabuye as a 6. Umabuye is a 10. But Umabuye can play as an 8. He doesn't replace Ox. He doesn't give Ox the break so that we can have a ball player there. But for me, Ukayele is the one player who's supposed to be playing there ahead of Ox. It's just that now Ukayele doesn't have the confidence he used to have because when he gets game time, he's given to play in positions where he's not going to excel, and that affects his confidence, But if he's played deeper, Ukayele is confident. He gives us so much. So for me, it's just about whether we keep Ox, then let's use the right tactics. Let's support him with the right players around him. And then let's not give him functions that require him to be on the ball and do things that he cannot do on the ball. Because we are going to judge him as the supporters. We want the team to be on the ball and stay on the ball. Once we lose the ball, we check. Who's losing the ball? Ox. We don't even care whether somebody lost the ball before, but it's Ox. We are expecting Ox to lose the ball. So we complain. It happens, So for me, let's not put Ox in that position. Let's not put Ox in a position where he has to be a ball player. He cannot be a ball player. But there's no player in the whole league who can win the ball like Ox as a 6. There's no one. But the problem is no one can give Ox the technical qualities he needs so that he can affect our game positively. So how do you therefore benefit on the defensive qualities of Ox while not exposing his technical deficiencies on the ball? You allow him to move back when we are on the ball so that those who can play can play. My brother, we normally push our 10s, whether it's Userino, whether it's Ushabalala, to be way too high. That gap they leave between their pivot and the 10, that gap is dangerous because it leads to a lot of turnovers. Because now Ox must make long ball. Because the only passing option available is Mshini. If Mshini is pressed, Ox must think otherwise. If he turns, he doesn't have the awareness. He doesn't have the efficiency on the ball. He might delay a pass. He might struggle to control the ball, and then we lose possession. We are under pressure. So for me, if you are going to rely on Ox this season, it means you didn't plan properly in pre-season. That's my understanding. And if you are accepting that you need Ox, then use him properly. Let him be a 6 that stays there, but we're on the ball, let him move back and be part of the center backs. Then we'll find a way to have control in midfield, find a way to get balls in the opposition half, fix our problems at 10, fix the choices we are making at number 9, fix the wingers. Olilepo is leading with goals, but he's not with shots on target or shots at goal, but he's not giving us much. So we'll fix those problems after. But with Ox, don't let Ox feel like he has a responsibility to pass the ball forward, create chances, carry the ball, find solutions under pressure in midfield because he is not developed that way.
Thanks, Captain. Sandile, I saw your hand. What do you want to add something when El Capitan was speaking?
The gap El Capitan was talking. He did cover that point here. We would say it's because of Ox's weaknesses. Because I wanted to ask, we would say, is it not because Ungobo is the one who is supposed to receive and then progress the ball? We would say that's the reason you have to be next to Ox to make sure that he receives and then progress, because Ox, he struggles with forward passing. El Capitan did touch on that.
Okay. Guys, I think that, look, for this season, I can stomach this issue of Ox with his limitations. But I do think that next season we need a better six. I do think, like, let's go and get a better six for us. El Capitan, I did see you speak about Ucele, and I did see Ucele even the last season. I think it's because Mart was there, and Mart was always a scapegoat. So when we're not doing well defensively, Mart will always blame Mart. I think we do need a DM that's better at both, trying to stop any plays, to step any plays, and able to pass the ball and able to control the ball. Because one of the frustrations I have with Ox is Ox who pass away he's looking at. If he receives the ball looking at here, he's gonna pass it back here. So there's what you spoke about, the scanning. He doesn't care whether there's no one pressing him at all. You understand? So he passes here. If he looks at this way, he's gonna pass here. If he looks at this way, he's gonna pass here. So those are the things that are frustrating about him. But also, I do appreciate his defensive abilities, which has really helped us this season. Because I think he's part of the reason why we are conceding less. So I do want to appreciate, not to be seen, we don't seem like we're attacking Ox. We're not attacking Ox. We're just saying that there's certain things, the team, like El Capitano spoke perfectly, say, let's accommodate him. Let's not expose. Let's accommodate his weakness and let's not expose them. You understand? How you do that really has to be a coach. That's why you get paid, be a coach, and make sure that we don't expose his weaknesses and we don't. You understand? I think, guys, the last two questions, I think they are together. We spoke about defense in terms of we've been doing well, but in terms of what we need to improve on, I think we all agree attacking. We need to improve on creating chances. I don't want to say this is what we need to improve on, but we know we need to improve on that. What is it that in attacking or creating chances that we need to improve? I accused a lot on Twitter, and my frustration for me personally, I like this boy, and I don't want it to be. I like him too, but I don't think it's our best 10 for me. And I've been very clear with me, number 10, how I want my number 10 to play. That's why with Umbule, I can even say, yeah, he's good with controls. He can control the ball, whatever. He doesn't create. He doesn't score. So it's not my type of number 10. I want a 10 that can create for the team and score. My 10 should be, if by the end of the season, you should be on 15 or 16 goals and assists. My number 10. You understand? But Mtu lacks that. But I don't want to blame Mtu alone, because in football, we don't do certain things. We just see the end results, right? We don't see what impacts, why Mtu is not able to do that. We don't see certain things, but we just see Mtu not being able to do that. What needs to change in our creation, in our system, in that midfield, for us to create more?
The question. Yeah, I think El Capitano didn't mention it in passing, but there's a player like Mayo who's being misused or misplaced because of his scoring abilities. I think we need to address that first. Put players in their best positions. Mayo is a winger who can score. That means he's left-footed, put him on the right. And then on the left, you've got a winger who can score. That is Lilepo. But Lilepo needs to know when to shoot. Because I feel like he just wants to shoot. Even when he's in wrong areas, in terms of angles, he wants to shoot. So that needs to be sorted out. In terms of number 10, I said this before the season started when I was watching the preseason games. I think we have a good number 10 in Umfundo Villagas. Fundo is a number 10 who is able to see a pass, who is able to take a risky pass. I think it takes it from Usirino because they've got this relationship together. That guy is able to break a window, just like Usirino, and he's able to take a shot at goal and score. He's got a good technique. So maybe if we set up properly up front, we can get something in terms of goals, because we've got now a winger who can score, a 10 who can score, a left winger who can score, and then you've got a striker. Then we can talk about chances being created if these guys are set up properly. I think that's where we need to start sharp.
Okay. El Capitano, what do you think what needs to change? I think Bulls mentioned a couple of things there. What needs to change in our creation?
I think we are creating chances. I think it's what Opta mentioned earlier, that we are not creating quality chances. And for me, what needs to change is, well, I love football, guys. I love total football. I don't just love the results. So I always look at the midfield before I can look at a lot of other things, because that's where everything is being controlled. How we are going to structure out of possession, how we are going to attack. So the midfield is important. Now, I believe that one of the reasons we are not creating quality chances, I'll make an example that I know many will not understand, that it's not out of spite or just comparison. It's just to show what we are missing now. You see, 2 seasons ago, we had about Khota in the team. We had about Khota in the team. We were pushing the Lions to free. We had about Tebe in midfield. The difference with that team and the team that we have today is there was a connection between the midfield trio in most cases, and our wingers were able to eliminate and set up a lot of 1v1 situations. I think we were getting penalties. That team could create what we call big chances that we feel like, come on, man. You can't miss it. We don't create a lot of those chances now. We don't. The opportunity that Udupree missed versus Simba in Congo, we don't create a lot of such opportunities. Yes, it's a big chance that he missed, but we don't create a lot of those. Now, I believe that the reason is the gap in midfield, my brothers. For me, if we are not going to take your possession from the first phase, second to the final phase, you will always find your players always trying to improvise in the box, because you can't repeat the way you are attacking, because you don't have the structure of attack. The reason you don't even see the structure is because of the profiling of the players you want to start games with. Mayo, when he's fit, he starts as a 9. That's a problem. He doesn't give you movement, he doesn't give you shots, he doesn't give you passing options. He is just there. And it limits our movement, it limits the quality of the chances that we are creating. So if we can, we hardly see Chiefs rotating passes in around the opposition box, but we do it that day. But rotating passes without losing the ball by forcing a forward pass, you don't see much of that, because we don't have the right players to do that. And by right players, I mean in terms of the structure that we are using. Ushabalala is not a bad number 10. But if we are going to use Ushabalala as a number 10 that plays like a second striker, we must accept how the team will play thereafter. Because the way we are using Ushabalala from Unadi, when he arrives, he wants Ushabalala to receive and 10. That means Ushabalala will not be part of ball circulation. That is why Shabalala is always up there. He can be quiet in the game, but look at where he is when he gets to be involved. He's always in the offensive phase. Now, what do you need as a team if you are going to be a possession-based team? You need your 10 to drop deep and receive from your pivot. We don't have that. So that means we can't sustain possession into the final phase. And if you can't sustain possession into the final phase, you can't create big chances because you are not repeating attacking patterns. So for me, look, I would not remove Shabalala because I'm saying he's ineffective. Because I see the way we are playing. We want a number 10 that plays like Shabalala. That's how we are playing. Most of the time you find us playing a 4-2-4. The number 10 is always playing like a second striker. That's how we are playing. So I wouldn't want to remove Shabalala without changing the system that we are using. If we drop the number 10 to become a 10 that can also receive between the DM, the double pivot, then you will see the team carry possession. I want them to carry possession to the attack, not just pick the ball forward and create a chance. Carry possession to the attack. If you can carry possession to the attack, you will have time and you will have ways to create bigger opportunities. We cannot even say the goals we are scoring are from repeated patterns. It's always improvisation. We're improvising all the time. Players are just freestyling when they get to the opposition box because we don't have those patterns. We are relying on Moody. He's all in 1v1 situations. We say Moody, kill them, get into the box. If you can score. If you can pass. That's what Lepo is doing. Kill them, get into the box. What do you do when you get there? Try and score because you have good technique. That is why it's no longer thinking. Lepo doesn't care whether there are better players in better positions. There's a better option that he can take. He just wants to shoot. Why? Because we know that is his best quality. But what about the team dynamic? What about the movement of others? What about us trying to maybe make late runs into the box, cut back, chip those balls into the box, make those off-shoulder runs? You can't get those because we don't have clear patterns in attack. So I blame one, wrong profiling of the attacking players. We are using these players in the wrong way. Who spoke about Vilakazi as a 10. I think we've seen that in the under-20, that he's a good number 10. Even with us, once he cuts inside, the passes that he makes, we don't get it from the 10s that we prefer ahead of him. But why is he not being played? It's because we are not looking at the performance. We're just looking at who do we want there. You see, that's what I'm saying. The preference from the coaches is not based on the system they are playing. It's based on who they want to see there. Because some of the players they are choosing are actually knocking their own system. They are making their own system look poor, because they don't want to rely on the players who are improving their system. So in attack, the number 10 role for me, until they use Chislet and Mabuye, I feel like we have the players and the coaches are to blame. In terms of the wingers, so that we can create better chances and score, until they use Omayo on the right, take Lilepo straight to the left or to the bench, and stop using him as a number 9, we will never get anything there. But those are the things they love doing. The things that are not working, they are very, very persistent with them, and they are very, very patient. They will always take Lilepo to become a number 9. The question is, which game has he ever been good for us as a number 9 since he arrived? For them to be so sure. You see, it's not about performance, it's who they prefer though. So for me, and it's disturbing, my brother, I know it's not part of the question, but the system that we are playing, if it was consistent, then I think some of these elements will not be a concern. We started with a 4-2-3-1. I mean, we prepared the whole preseason with a 4-2-3-1. The season starts, we are using it. After Nabi is removed, we are playing to a 3-4-3. We are removing everything that the players learned in preseason about that they are coaching. We are saying they must start afresh. Okay, we are saying now, it's fine, guys. We accept that you don't want to follow Nabi's route. It's fine. We see you want to establish your own ideas. Now they play 2 games with the new system. They go back to Nabi's system, 4-2-3-1 again. You're like, these guys are experimenting on everything they are doing. So it's difficult to demand consistency from the players if so many elements are not in sync. There's no clarity in the system we are using. There's no clarity in the profiles that we want in the field based on the system. There are no repeated patterns. So those are some of the things that are killing us. For me, I feel they need to profile our players better. They need to analyze our own team better. Because we do have quality players there, but they are not doing enough to put them in the right spaces. So Ushabalala is a 10, not a problem for me if we are playing the 4-2-4 that we've been playing. But if you want to be in possession more, remove Shabalala as a 10. Use Vilakazi, use Chislet, use any other player. Thank you, my brother.
Thanks, Ndot. I think, guys, was spoken a lot.
about the challenges and what's working and what's not working at Chiefs. My last question would be one, and I want everyone to answer this question. I think maybe some would be repeating that their answer, but I want to know, what's that one thing you'd like to see change in the team for the next 10 games? What's that one thing you'd like, okay, we need to change this thing for us to be successful in the next 10 games? We have 19 points and we have a possibility of getting in the next 10 games 30 points. We don't know how that's going to work. So what is it that you would like one thing to say, here we need to change? Sandy, I'll start with you.
I-network nginika inkinga, is giving me a lot of problems. Angazi noma ngiyazwakala njengamanje.
We can hear you, my brother. We can hear you.
Okay. I think to have a better team going forward on the technical team side of things, I would say le point la El Capitan or le profiling. We need to profile our players better. For us to build a better team, we need to use our players' strengths more. If the player is performing more coming from the left, let the player play there. Let's not try to force other ideas. Yes, if the team is performing better and everything is okay, we can try new things, new combinations, new ideas, and all of that. But for now, we need to work on our strengths as now. Another thing is we need to take control of our game, because I've seen sometimes after scoring we tend to lose the ball more, and that's why we win our games with 1-0 or that's draw with Maromo. When they scored, we were not using the ball effectively. We were just passing around and not taking control of the position. I think we need to fix control. We do have players who can control the game, who can keep the ball, who can progress the ball. We just need the technical team to profile, man. Use players to their strengths, and the results will come. Lento, yeah, but I don't know what to say more. But Lento, chopping and changing, trying new ideas like 3-4-3, Labagatis Bazama, which is something we never did during preseason. I think it's some of the things that is confusing players. Let's stick to what they know, because we have seen they were trying to understand the system more on the first 5 games. So we need to work on that and know their strengths. I don't know if our analysts are not that good, or maybe coaches are not listening to them. I don't want to speculate. But I think there's a misunderstanding there, because by the look of things, we analyze other teams more than analyzing our team. Where can we fix? What can we do to improve and all of that? I think that's what we need to fix going forward.
Thanks, Sandil. How many minutes do we have? I know this thing of yours.
Doctors, no 5 minutes.
I knew it. Let's be quick, guys. Let's be quick. I'll just finish with tools. El Capitano, what's
that's
that
okay,
one thing we need to change? No, we can hear you. What's that one thing that needs to change, El Capitan?
lot of things that must change there. But no, man, okay. I think the first one would be stability, in terms of player selection. We need to have our best 11. I know we have a lot of players, and some of us are crying that they get game time, but I think the coaches, they need to find that best 11 and say these are the best players that we have to start with and build from. I think Coach Kaizer spoke about it like last week. We said that we think we are at 85% certainty of the players that we believe that we can start with, and I think I saw that in the last 2 games. But
I think
these are the demands. Every week he works very hard to become better based on the demands of the system. So they need to really decide how they want the team to play, select the best 11, and also decide on the system that they want to apply. In that way, we'll also be, in the clear, about our identity. Are we a possession-based team? Are we playing transition? What are we playing? Are we trying to learn from Gavin Hunt, or we are trying to go the Pep route? So we need to decide on what is it that we want to do. In that way, for me, I think it will be easy for them as well as coaches to improve the team when they have a best 11. They also have a system that they believe in.
Thanks, Captain. Tools, you are the last one, Dot.
Yeah, can you hear me? Lose. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh no, there's no much to add. The team has to be consistent with the best players. They need to not try new things. Just keep with the best performing players. If the player does well, don't try to look at the other player. Give the player some momentum. Let them perform. Let them play. And play them in their best positions. But I just want to say, in us looking for things that need to change, we need to keep the things that are working. Defensively, we cannot let go of what we've been doing correctly there. We need to keep that. So in trying to look for goals, we need to keep it clean at the back. So that's all that I can say for now, Tando.
Thanks, Tools. I think my overall comments now about the team is, well, Capitano said it. We're not really bad. We just need to improve on certain things. We're truly not bad. Like if you look at the points we dropped 6 points, and if we didn't drop them, you'll understand in terms of points. Yes, in terms of how we play, there are things that we need to work on, but we're really not bad. And I feel like some of the things are our own creation. We create those problems, and the coaches are creating those problems, But we're not bad, man. I think we support the team. We want them to do well. My goal for this season, I did say I want the team to compete. I think if they can get, I don't care what they win, but if they can get more than 40 points or 45 points this season, I'll be very happy. We struggled, guys, to get more than 30 points in the past 2 seasons. And so I think now this season, I think will be much better. We'll possibly in the next 10 games, I think I do see us getting at least 20 points in the next 10 games. So at least we'll be fine.
Okay, everyone, this is 1v1 football. We've just had a nice discussion on the first 10 games of KaizerChiefs. And just special thanks to the gents for allowing to have this conversation. Opta Jabu, El Capitano, Tando, Sandile Duma. These guys are there on Facebook and X, so you can just do the most in supporting their content. They are there giving us football content. So just follow them and subscribe where possible. But to the people who have subscribed to this channel, I just want to say thank you. Stick around for some more content. And to the new guys, I hope you like this content. If you do, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We are going to 1,000 subscribers. So thank you so much and God bless.